Okay, I'm going to record it here. Thank you, Rise Higher Toastmasters. This is Francisco. I will be helping with this roundtable / panel as we have it on the screen share. The reason for that is not only part of an ongoing online HPL, focusing on collaborative content creation and curation, but also my work on a master's degree in instructional design technology. This is technically part 2. We had the pleasure of inviting Liz and Luvenia to our Leadership Outreach Toastmasters Club number 9049 in District 11 a couple of weeks back. We had enough volunteers then to conduct a MUC today because of the holidays. I assume we were not able to get everybody to do it. It's that complex. But the bottom line is that last time there were a lot of people yearning for more. As you can see on the chat, this portion of the meeting, I'm hoping to record the next 25, 30 minutes, half an hour, depending on the enthusiasm. Again, we went over time that time. It was amazing. Luvenia and Liz really helped us see the realities of it. And today, the twist is you have been there. I don't know how many of you have been there as contestants. I know that that's a whole entire separate ball of wax regarding lighting, regarding distance from the camera, what camera to use. Our PQD, for example, Scott Brown is engaged in a 365 challenge with his blog, with his video blog, and he's helping us with that. So I've been using this format recently for questions is, what will you say about fill in the blank? So I'm glad that Liz is here. I'm glad that Luvenia is here. But if any of you here at Rise Higher, I'm going to stop the share now and leave this on gallery mode so I can see all your beautiful faces. If any of you have been a contestant at any level, again, at any level at an online speech contest, what would you advise somebody who has not done it before? What would you be your advice? If, you know, a table topic size advice, don't do this. And what would you recommend they experimented or did to have a more pleasant experience as a contestant at the online speech contest? Again, we have Liz and Luvenia to back us up. Sam and Donna are here again, wanting more, but take it away, Rise Higher. Thank you.
Liz, you're on mute.
Rick, I believe that puts you up because you are the only contestant I could think of. That's
oh, okay. Yeah. I was waiting for somebody else. Yeah.
Nope, you're up.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Well, there's a lot of things that I wasn't ready at all. So you really wanted to be ready and have all your equipment. It's one of the things you don't want. You want to be able to keep your hands inside the view. So you got to practice that. Get with another member or two and make sure everything's working perfectly. Don't use the fake screen in the back. Find a background, a drapery. If you just hanging drapery behind you would work. You know, a light colored, whatever works. You want to make sure everything works as you go. Then when you practice your speech, you can you don't have to worry about everything. Like I said, I didn't have a camera. I wasn't set up with a TV. I just had a little laptop, which is very hard to work. And I think if you really want to do it, even if you have to borrow somebody's computer, I would think you would want to do that before trying to use a cell phone or even a laptop. But if that's all you got, some people have moved along pretty good with that. The one thing that you can do when you're working with a camera and everything is you can have your speech. I didn't have this, but you can have it written right in front of you, or your what do you call it? The ideas that you're going to go, the different, like, okay, I'll do this to here, and you just words, and and it's right there. You don't have to look down. You don't want to be looking down. So that's a lot of it. I was lucky enough to come in third at one level, which I've never been that high before. And also to have a timer of some kind, not just use their timer, have your timer. In other words, you can have it right in front of you, and you can make it go a little faster. In other words, instead of having the red come on at 7, have it come on at 6:45 or 6:30, and that way you won't miss the other one. So you'll get a head start. You're allowed to do a lot of things on your own. As far as like that, you can have different situations in there, and I'd use every one of them that you can, just to be sure. But when you're working with everything, you just make sure all your equipment is working, and maybe even have backups for the day that it happens. If you only got one camera and you can't get it to work, you're done. So cameras are not that expensive, and you can get them now. When we first started, you could not get one. All the stores were out of them because all the college students and high schools and everything else ran out and bought all the cameras, and it would be weeks and weeks and weeks. So I had to borrow one at the time. So, and that's a lot of it. Does anybody have any questions on any of it?
Rick, I'm going to take advantage of asking you 2 questions, if I may, to elaborate. Have you heard, there's a rumor out there that one can actually connect an old phone, sometimes, you're blessed with having an upgrade, and then you have this other phone, and some of us put music on it. Have you heard of, played with, using an old iPhone or an Android phone as a webcam on these Zooms? I just want to check. And if you haven't, has anybody else had that experience? Yes, cameras have come down in price, and yes, they were hard to get, but has anybody played with that notion?
I don't know about the old webcams or, the old iPhones and everything, but I do know that you can. I'm sure you can do it. You're a techie here, and it can be done, but make sure that if you're going to be in a contest, make sure it's working well. Everything has to work. So you'd have to be working on it either now or before now to get all the bugs out of it. So whatever you don't want to do it a few days before and try to throw something together. No.
I love that phrase. Get the bugs out of it. Excellent.
Yeah, definitely. And do it in your normal, like today, if you would have it on today, or any meetings or your friends or Zooming, and you would work with this thing. So it's just like making a phone call, just second nature, no problem. Any other questions in?
Love that. Thank you, Rick.
Francisco?
Yes, Donna.
Can I ask all of them a question?
Please jump in.
And this is open to anybody who has anything to offer on it. But for our district, we were hitting the last of the area and division contest right when the pandemic hit. So we had taken a vote, and we voted that the clubs were saying, this isn't what we paid for, so no, we don't want to do the contest this year. Now, do any of you have any advice on if we run into that again this year? Because they have had a year's notice, basically, that all contests are going to be virtual. Now, so how do you put the members at ease in competing virtually?
I would like to answer that question, if I may. This is Kent Barley, DTM. I myself have actually participated in every aspect of a speech contest. I have been a contestant, I have been a judge, I've been a timer, I've been the chief judge, I've been the Toastmaster of a contest, and so I'm familiar with the rules up one side and down the other. Now, luckily, I'm also versed in audio and visual equipment. So imagine, if you will, a virtual contest is almost like a TV stage production. And it is very overwhelming for somebody who has never done it before. So, to quote the Barb, all the world's a stage and we are merely players. So, like a musical of sorts without the singing, I suggest you have, like you said, a mock is a full dress rehearsal. That's where you say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go through, and you provide a script. And with that script, you have, okay, here are the parts and who's playing which part and things of that sort. Then what you actually do is and it's one of those cases where you don't just do it once. You do it multiple times if time allows. So you have the part of, okay, you have the judges, you have the timers, you have the chief judge, you have the ballot counters, you have the you have your mock contestants, depending upon what your contest is, because all 4 contests, we're talking the international, the humorous speech, the table topics, and the evaluation, they're all different. So there are 4 different formats. So you need to say, okay, here's the script for the international speech contest, and here's the script for the evaluation contest. And then from there, you would just go through and start from the beginning, go through it until the end. Now you have to have some individuals who are familiar with the technology, and also having backups, making sure you have right cameras working and things of that sort. Now, if you really want to go into, okay, the lighting and the makeup, the sets, do you use a virtual background? Do you use a, they always
Never.
say do it best. You should always do it best by standing up. Some of us, like myself, I have to sit down because my knees are bad, but I'm not planning to participate in the contest anytime soon, at least not as a contestant. Unless I
Kent, you
really
haven't
want
been
to.
involved.
Excuse me?
Oh, sorry.
Somebody's commenting. So that is what I would suggest. I know it's a long undertaking, but it's like, well, some people learn best by doing it. So you have a dress rehearsal of the whole thing. Now, granted, like I said, there are 2 speech contests that are going on this year, the evaluation contest and the internationals contest. So what you would have to do is you would have to focus on, okay, from top to bottom, things of that sort, from beginning to start, this is what happens next. And if people are willing to commit the time, that's the key one, the time. And you got to plan ahead on this, because you just can't do it. Okay, do we go to dress rehearsal like 3 days before the event? No, that's too late. I would say plan it out ahead so that you do it from time to time. Sometimes you have a script read to find out, okay, here's what we do first and who says what, when, and all this other stuff. And then you go into the dress rehearsal, and then you try out all the technology and make sure that this works and that works. And that way you get practice for everyone, for all the roles that you're having to do. How's that?
Excellent. Donna, does that answer your question? Okay, I see her nodding. Ken, maybe after the meeting, I'd like to invite you, what you and Richard both highlighted, to take advantage of every opportunity for that dress rehearsal, read of the script, yes, it is a production, but it ups our game. I would like, if you have time to hear me out on what I'm trying to put together. It's essentially some offline, online asynchronous, so people can just pick and choose what they want to see. A handful of short YouTube videos to explain and elaborate on the guidelines that I just posted on the chat. So let me know, direct chat. And it's 10:43. We are going to stop this segment at 11, correct? Okay.
Yes.
I asked Vicky to give us a green at 10:55, so we have 17 minutes. Rise higher. Take it away. Sam, do you have any questions? I see Luvenia is here. She unmuted. Are we missing
Hi.
anything, Luvenia?
Well, I can talk a little bit from the perspective of the contest chair. I served as the combined division BCNH contest chair for last year, as well as the contest chair for the District 40 district contest. And being that it was the first virtual contest, it was definitely it was a rewarding experience. I think that coming into this new contest season, I just want to stress that the planning is the key. I know that there's been a lot of talk about understanding the virtual and understanding how to do Zoom, which is great, and we need to do that, but we cannot leave out the details. And the reason why is that the whole thing about the contest, to make the contest successful and rewarding, is that we got to keep in mind the goal is that we need to, as the chair, protect the contest experience for everyone involved. And that's the contestants, that's the officiants, that's the spectators, all the guests that are there. And so to do that, it's going to be very key that whoever that person is that's going to chair those contests can tie all those pieces together on the backside. And Zoom is just going to be able to bring all of that into the light for everyone watching. But regardless of what level of the contest you're working on, whether it's on the club or whether it's on the district level, it's very important that you keep in mind the integrity of the contest. An invalid club contest has the same power to have a negative impact on a contestant, especially if they move forward and get to that district level. And there was a lot of things that, challenges that we had to deal with going through the first virtual contest season. I just want to say, read the rule book. And just because we're doing a virtual contest, it does not give permission to bypass any of the contest rules. The contest rules stands as they are. And just by the sheer fact that Toastmasters International has not wavered on the contest rules, just communicates how important, even in this virtual world, that we continue to adhere to the rules of the official contest. The goal in doing the virtual contest is to take those roles and take all of the rules and make them work in a virtual contest. So get lots of feedback from people who've experienced it. I think last year I had a lot of interaction with other districts who were doing virtual contests, as well as I think I'd sent Gene at the time. He was the PQD for last year. I think I was in communication with him like every few days, just running things by him. And he was in constant communication with Toastmasters International. Can we do this? Is this allowed? And so every step of the way, getting to the final district contest, everything that we did, we ran by Toastmasters International, especially because this was the first contest. The biggest challenge I want to just throw out there for everyone, I think really is going to be the officiants portion of the contest, where it involves the chief judge. And the reason being is that we have to do a lot of things that we typically do in person, in a virtual way, that there are no tools available to us to be able to translate those things into the virtual. And so we have to be very creative, but at the same time, be very wise about what we do, especially when it comes to the judging and the timing. All of that stuff is I want to say sacred, because people cannot know what what each judge, uh, how they judge in the contest, and the times are supposed to be private between the chief judge and the timers. And so a lot of times people say, okay, well, just take a picture and email it, but you can't do that. And the reason, if you can't email one email out to a broad group of people. If a chief judge communicates to all of the officiants, they're going to do that broadly. But if the judge communicates its results, his or her results, back to the chief judge, that has to be personal. And so broad emails really just don't work between the judges and the chief judge for that reason. So you have to really be mindful of how to make sure that every vote counts and every vote is legitimate, and that is done in a way where you protect the judges judging as well as the timers timing, and keeping all the anonymity that you would have in a physical contest still present in a virtual contest. So that piece does take a lot of planning. And that's a piece that I think that I would just encourage everybody to spend some time really iron out, because with that, you also got to take into consideration what people's technical ability is and what technical tools each individual may have, and find ways and things that work across the board, or have alternative ways to make sure you have the same result across the board, to account for the differences in people's technology or technical abilities. And so I just wanted to make sure I throw that out, because I hear a lot of talk about the Zoom, which is important, but very little talk about that piece. And that's that has the potential to ruin the contest experience, especially hindering people from getting to the point of making it to district and not being able to go all the way to international.
So Luvenia, to clarify, that piece that you say, besides from the Zoom, is part of what you gave us a demo, if you will, for both the judges and the ballot counters, which is what was built on Google Forms, correct?
Right. I used Google Forms last year because I'm technical from that perspective, and that was the easiest for me. And I can do links where each individual can communicate with me via a link, and it's personal between me and the individual, but it's housed in a central location so nothing gets lost. So I was able to assure that I've received all the judges judging, and that it was personal between me and the judges, and that none of the other judges could see the results, and the same with the timers as well. And then it was also in a way that I could share that with the ballot counters to be able to do the ballot counting. And so I was able to use Google Forms in that respect, but I also realized that that's a technology that many people may not understand how to use. And so, I definitely think that that's a good way to use it. But again, getting a lot of input and a lot of advice, because I'm sure there's a lot of other techies out there who know of some other tools that may work just as well, and that may be a lot more user-friendly. So I can't speak on that. So I can show people how to use the Google Forms, how I used it, but I'm not saying you have to do that, and I'm not limiting it to that.
Right.
I just said that you take what works for you, but you got to protect the integrity of the contest. And that's, I can't stress that enough. You got to protect the integrity of the contest.
I'm going to set this up to gallery view because everybody is saying yes to what you just said. It's 10:52. I asked Vicky to give me a green in 3 minutes. Does anybody want to add? I thought I saw a hand being raised. Thank you, Liz, Luvenia, Kent, Richard, of course, for your perspective as a contestant. Is there something that you would like the world to hear? Again, we recorded this. If you don't want to be in the recording, just turn off your camera. as part both of an effort that is happening at Leadership Outreach. I'll combine this with what we recorded before. But if anybody wants to, get up there and remind us of something when we have not done a contest like in this format, in this platform.
I'd like to share some, oh, sorry.
Oh, Christine.
Christine, okay, this is Christine. I'd like to just share very quickly that the contest that Luvenia was in charge of, the district contest, I was a judge, and it was very seamless and they did an amazing job. But I just wanted to share that when you're trying to get people to volunteer, I was actually able to do the contest, be a judge, and do it on my phone. So I didn't have to have my laptop. I didn't have to be on my work laptop. I could actually, she had it set up in such a way that I was able to judge the entire contest on my phone. And I commend her so much. And I just wanted to give her a shout out at how great that contest was, and just give her all the kudos that she deserves. And she's a great resource. But it was very, very seamless for me as a judge to do it just simply on my phone. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, thank you, Christine. One of the things that I tried to convey to us in the 11 is that we are going to enjoy the experience of a contest. And one of the things I've asked the panelists, and please help me with this, is that when you think about it, there could be members out there that have not enjoyed the experience of a contest, which will help. As Kent brought up, it's a big production. It's a lot of technology. It may be attractive to them for various reasons. So again, floor is open. It's 10:55. Vic is going to give us a green in a minute. Oh, there's that green. So how do we wrap this up? And like Don said, with something that points out to an enjoyable experience.
Francisco.
Hey, Francisco, this is Gail. I'd like to make a comment as well. Liz, I saw you. We were at the same time.
Okay.
I also had the opportunity to serve as a judge with the arrangement and the format that Luvenia had put together. And my thing is, I'm a business process person. And my thing is, if something is working and it's efficiently working, try not to reinvent the wheel. And it would be great. And I don't know what your plan is for the future, but it would be fantastic if you were able to recreate a similar process that we were able to use in District 40, because I'm sure that there was probably, maybe I haven't heard, something didn't go right, but I would say 99.9% of the process went efficiently and effectively. And, I'm volunteering you, Luvenia, just lean on Luvenia and not reinvent the wheel. And I know Liz was also instrumental in that, and Kent as well. If it works and it's not broken, don't try to fix it. So I would say don't reinvent the wheel and just try to use some of those processes, because it was a fantastic experience. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Gail. Yes.
I can throw in one more.
Yes. I
Sorry,
would
Liz.
like to say a little more as on the participants side. Rick gave his perspective, and I want to share what I had shared with all the participants. We just talked. Chris just said she was on her iPhone. I'm not even sure she has an iPhone. But there were contestants that used their iPhones. There were contestants who used a laptop. There were contestants who used a hard drive and used a full computer. Yes, ideally, everybody has a big $1,000 CPU, $10,000, multiple monitors, but people can use a cell phone. And you don't have to have a microphone. You don't have to have everything. You don't have to spend a lot of money.
Excellent
We all have table lamps. Find your good lighting. Check your lighting. Have someone help you with that lighting. Bring your table lamp from your living room into your office. Take the picture off the wall. If you can hang a sheet behind you, kudos. Do whatever it takes to help you. Do not use a virtual background. One, it distracts from your speech. It does not add to your speech, generally. And because as a judge, it may look good to some, It may not look good to others. So it is probably to your benefit not to have it. If you do not have a green screen, definitely do not use a virtual background, because we've all been in meetings and seen everybody go black, their hands disappear, that kind of thing. Ideally, yes, you could stand up, stand back, practice, but you're only going to see your, from your waist up. Even if you're sitting down, then at least show your body, because part of the judging is your body movement and how you portray your meeting. And if you're sitting down, you can still portray that. But show, if you have a fireside chat speech, then show your fireside chat. But if you have an active, motivating, up and go, then stand up. Step back from your camera, move your laptop up, put it on some books, put it on a box, but always practice with the same computer, the same iPhone, the same laptop, whatever it may be. And like Rick said, have your neighbor down the street as a backup, because that morning your computer may die. You go grab their computer. I know he did it one morning. He went and grabbed his son's. So just be aware that if it goes off, if you have to go to Panera, just give your speech, go to Panera, because your Wi-Fi goes out. But be prepared for whatever comes up. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Liz. It's been very enjoyable. I think we follow what Don wanted for the overall meeting. It's 10:59. I'm going to do my little bit of branding and hold the share and stop the recording at 11. Again, Rise Higher Toastmasters. Thank you very much. Where is this thing? Gosh, did I move it? Oh gosh, where is it? My little something here, present. It's not there, hold on. Sorry, I'm fumbling. I made a little change on it, okay. So again, thank you, Rise Higher Toastmasters, for this online speech contest roundtable. Stay tuned for a unlisted link. I'll let you guys take a look at it before that, along with the one that we recorded in District 11. I'm going to stop now. Stopping now.